Hey guys, we're back again with another 32nd scale aircraft kit this week. This time we're looking at Revell's 1/32nd scale Hunter FGA Mark 9 and Mark 58. Let's open it on up and let's take a look. Now this is a fairly sizable kit, so something to be aware of. So starting with the aft fuselage piece, it does have recessed detailing, but all of the detail is on the shallow side and is fairly soft. So that is something you may want to invest in a little time on correcting and deepening. On that, not a whole lot to say there. Moving on, we're into the forward fuselage. Again, much the same level of detailing as the aft. One area that I found really poor is the ejection seat. That's something I would say spend the extra money and go aftermarket, as just it looks pretty crappy. That's fortunately the best way I can describe it. Similarly, the one of the versions of the front cockpit, the detail is okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. And at least on my copy, I also have a really nasty bit of flashing there. Similarly, cockpit tub, much the same. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. Detailing in main gear, or the nose gear, sorry, much the same. Some detailing in aft part of the cockpit, not terrible, but could be better. Continuing on, we've got some of our armaments. Comes with a pair of AGM-65s, a couple different drop tanks, external mounts, and one of the other for the opposite version. I believe this one's for the Mark 58, the first one being for the FGA.9. Again, detailing is all on the softer, shallower side. But again, it's not terrible, but could be better. Continuing on, we've got some of the ornaments for the FGA, out of rocket pods and some additional fuel tank options. Our main gear bay doors, not terrible, and much the same with the main gear. That really seems to be the main, I guess, takeaway from this kit is a lot of the detail is okay, passable, not terrible, but obviously could be better. Now, one thing I do like that they did is on the main gear is they did pre-weight it. So you do have that little bit of a notch there. So that will help with alignment and also, looks more realistic. Now, next, one thing I really do like that they did on this kit is they do include a full inlet trunking for the jet. You don't always see this on kits, even on 32nd scale, so the fact they include this, that's a nice plus. Also on this sprue, we've got the control surfaces, air brakes, or the exhaust. Overall, nice addition. Last up, we've got our wing pieces and last of the tailplane. Again, using my hand for reference, this is a bigger kit. It's definitely one that if you take the time and really put the effort in, it will look very nice. Last up, as far as the sprues are concerned, are our clear parts. This is where I would say the kit, again, it's not terrible. I've seen a lot worse. These should be fine for most people. So give me a second to get the parts back in, and we will continue. Okay, moving on to our decal sheets. Kit comes with two options, one an RAF bird and one a Swiss bird. The rest of these are for the munitions and all of the stenciling, which this one does have a lot of. So be prepared for that. It's a stencil hell kit. In terms of color register, everything is really nice, sharp, and bright. Revell did a really good job on the decals here. Would have been nice had they given you a few more options, but is what it is. Now, moving on to the instructions. This is a bit of a complicated kit. There is a lot of sub-assemblies, and additionally, since you're technically building two different options that do have a fair bit of difference, that is something you're going to need to pay a lot of attention to, because that's one area where the kit does not do the best job of pointing out those differences. Like most aircraft, you start in the cockpit and build up from there. Already, at this point, you're going to have to pick and decide which version you're going to build. From there, it's pretty straightforward, building up from that front to the back, and you really don't run into any problems again until you start putting the wings together, as you're going to have to open up certain holes for the different versions for different armament configurations. But as far as that goes, you do get a lot of options just out of the box. Again, options for two different aircraft, one RAF and one Swiss. One thing I will say, the instructions do a good job of showing you where all the stencils go. Just wish they had found some easier way to do them than just individually. So, that was a look at Revell's 1/32 scale Hawker Hunter kit. It's an okay kit. It's not terrible. It's not the best. But it is an interesting thing and will be built up to a very big kit. Definitely one that will stick out. Now, one thing I am going to add, and I did a little digging before this. The thing about the FGA.9, internally, as best as I can find, and if someone has some information to correct this, please do leave a comment. Internally, it looks like the cockpit area on the 9 is the same as on the 6. So in theory, you could get parts for a 6 and use them on a 9. So that is something to be aware of. So in case, your favorite store is out, but they have parts for the 6, you can intermingle. A lot of the changes were external, and even then, they're very minor. Basically, if I recall correctly, they changed some of the control surfaces on the wings, so something to be aware of, and good to know you have options there. So, until next time.